Time to Shine Today podcast varsity squad. This is Scott Ferguson, and I got my boy Nate Newman. No, we'll just call him Nate here, man. And he has Nate, and that's N8, the numerical 8 Nate Training Systems. Fantastic. The dude's very well put together. He's a rock star. He's a fitness and nutrition expert, coach, speaker, and writer who believes that being in incredible shape is a massive advantage in business, focus, and relationships. He also happens to be a dad, a husband, and the #1 best-selling author of the $1 Million Body Method and Passport Fitness. Passport Fitness is something I actually dug into, the no-nonsense guide to staying in shape no matter what city you wake up in, which is much travel, as I'm back to doing. This is a great read for the people out there traveling. He helps business owners and entrepreneurs improve their physique, finances, and family time using fitness and nutrition as force multipliers. Nate is a coach, speaker, and writer whose work has been popularized in media outlets such as the Huffington Post, big time, Testosterone Nation, there you go, Ask Men, Breaking Muscle, Stack Media, and Thrive Global. And Nate, thank you so much for coming on. Please introduce yourself to Time to Shine Today podcast varsity squad. But first, what's your favorite color and why?
Ooh, I'd probably have to go with blue, just because that's the first thing that popped into my mind. And I feel like that if you think too hard about those types of questions,
right,
you kind of get all wound up and you're like,
yeah,
it's chartreuse. I guess it's burnt orange.
I love it. I love salmon. It's salmon.
Salmon, but it's a light salmon.
It's a light salmon. I love it, man. Thanks for coming on, brother. And like I've vetted you out. I go through this. It's just stacked and stacked and stacked with information that helps people level up. You know, Time to Shine Today, our mission, credo, whatever you want to call it, is we don't want to have anyone to feel like they have no one. But I also, my clients that I coach, a lot of the Forbes 100 and high-end clients, professional athletes and what stuff, we all agree that, you know, if you look good, you feel good. You feel good, you perform good. And if you perform good, you make money, you make connections, you make whatever. So I know that you come from that, but let's get to the origins of how you started there, brother.
Okay, yeah, and I know I'm trying to keep this really nice and concise. So
yeah,
basically, brother, I got into fitness as a fear-based response to kind of this crummy situation that happened to me when I was like 11 or 12. I was in 8th grade. My mom dropped my sisters off at school. I was at home by myself. Someone breaks into my back door, breaks the window. I'm like, that can't be good. Grab a steak knife, end up crawling under my bed, locking this little like rinky-dink like deep, like door lock.
Right.
Hear this guy coming down the hallway. I got wood floors. So he's like, boom, boom. It's like ingrained in my memory.
Oh, man.
Pounds on my door. I'm like down there with the steak knife. I'm like, I dare you to put your face down here, like pretending to be brave, you know, but like actually like peeing myself.
Yeah.
And I remember in that moment, Scott, feeling like I don't ever want to feel powerless like this again. I don't ever want to feel like my like entire autonomy's been like stripped away from me. And
right.
So I was like, you know what I'll do is I'm going to buy a bunch of knives on eBay. As a 12-year-old, pretty good idea.
Yeah.
And I'm also gonna like equip myself with a bunch of like muscle armor. I'm gonna grow a beard. I'm gonna have earrings. I'm gonna get tattoos. I'm gonna be so intimidating that no one will ever want to mess with me again. And
right.
That was my mentality when I first started off in fitness. And since then, thank goodness, it has morphed, because I think there's a lot of people who still stay tied up in that and want to be intimidating and have something like that, just stuff from childhood or whatever, just feelings of inadequacy.
Sure.
And I know that like that fear-based response is a lot of us like, oh, I want to get in shape. I don't want to feel a certain kind of way. I feel like I'm X, Y, or Z, or I'm lacking X, Y, or Z. But I think that like, while that's a great place to start from, we can use that as fuel. We have to transform at some point into what you said. When you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you perform good. And when you perform good, you make connections. You elevate your lifestyle.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing I love about fitness and nutrition, is that it's a way of elevating yourself. So rather than trying to pack yourself down and fit into a little box, it's like, how can I become better today? How can I become greater? How can I up-level my energy? Who can I touch right now? And I think that when you feel good and you walk in a room with confidence and it's energy, like you are able to impact more people there.
Sure.
So I think that's kind of where I'm at now compared to where I was like 20 years ago.
That's beautiful. And thank you for being transparent on that story, because it reminds me of me. Like, you know, now I'm a 6'1", I'm 250. You know, my waist is a 34, so it's not like I'm put together like a fat dude, right? But like I walk in now and I kind of get that. And I built a lot of me on insecurities of being the skinny kid, right? I mean, I was always scrappy. I wrestled, I made state tournaments, whatever. I was good, but I was always the scrappy kid, went in the Navy, and then started seeing all these guys in my team, like building muscle. And I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. But it took me a long time and a lot of coaching to get out of that insecurity out of my head. Okay, I was always the skinny kid on the inside. Do you ever have some of that fear that ever surfaces? And what do you do to force that back?
Yeah, I think that like, I mean, up until pretty recently, like that has still been kind of my identity, like skinny, like never like be good enough, especially trying to be a fitness professional and feeling like, oh, I need to look a certain way.
Right.
I need to look like, I need to have like these physical attributes. But I think honestly, like using kind of my platform and actually speaking about it has been really helpful.
Yeah.
Because like at first, like what I was always thinking was like, oh, like he thinks I'm this kind of way, or they expect me to show up like this. But I'm like, yo guys, I suck. I have a hard time with a lot of stuff. And this is like, and here's how like fitness has helped me.
Sure.
Like that was like really like to be able to be like transparent and like open up about it.
Sure.
Was like, oh, like everyone deals with this. I'm not better than anyone. I'm not worse than anyone. We're just all on the same page. We're just all having a human experience.
You're not an anomaly, right? So,
which is great to hear, you know?
Yes.
Like,
it's secure there. Let me ask you something. You mentioned fear 4 times. I mentioned it 3 times. Well, 7 times so far in this conversation, there's been the word fear. What's your acronym for fear?
Face everything and rise. Dude,
I love that you said that, because I say face everything and respond. I actually like rise better. I'm stealing that. That's awesome.
Take it.
That's fantastic, bro. That's thank you for saying it, because everyone has false evidence appearing real, which is fine. But dude, face everything and rise. That's kick ass. I love that. I love that. Thank you. So when you're starting to take somebody, let's say, put you in a one-on-one situation with a new prospective client that comes to you at Nate Training System. And again, squad, that's N8. 8 is the numerical 8. Nate Training Systems. Someone comes into you, what kind of secret sauce do you have, if you don't mind sharing, to maybe help them find their blind spot?
Yeah, so I'm big into questions. I will ask people questions over and over and over again. And a lot of times people come in and like, really, why are you asking me why I want to lose weight? Like, isn't it obvious? And I'm like, no, not to me. Like, I want to really unpack this. So before I give them like tactics, and this is again, like, this is coming from like 11, 12 years of evolution as a trainer. Because before I was like, Scott, you ready to roll? Burpees, let's go. Come on, protein shake, you know? But now I'm like, Scott, why is this important to you? And you're like, well, I want to get healthy. And I'm like, well, what's health look like to you? And you're like, well, I'd like to, you know, be able to live to this old age. I'm like, well, why is it important to live to be your 80s or 90s? I want to be there for my family. Well, why is it important to be there for your family? Well, I want to walk my daughter down the aisle, essentially, or something along those lines. I'm like, okay, now that's a reason. Yes. Now we're getting somewhere. Because if it's like, I want to lose 20 pounds, I want to run a 5K, those don't mean anything. And once you hit them, it doesn't like it kind of renders that feeling like obsolete. And you're like, well, now what? Do I just go back to eating normally? Do I have to living my life? And if we can go like, Scott, like you said, you want to be able to be there with your grandkids and your great grandkids, and you want to be able to walk your daughter down the aisle and be able to like crawl around on the floor and like play with your kids. Like that's a why. Now you can stay with this longer. Yes. So before I even get to like tactics and secret sauce, we got to make sure that we're connected to what's important.
Yes, the why is critical. I love that you brought that up. So while you're meeting with them in that first meeting, and the questions you're firing off at them, which are all powerful questions, obviously, to dig to their why, is there any good question that you wish they would ask you but never do?
That's a great question. I love, and I get this sometimes, I love when people ask me like, why should I hire you? Or what's the difference between you and a personal trainer? Because I've kind of been in both roles. I think that's a great question. I think there's like that signifies that someone's actually done their research and not just showing up to be like, well, what do you like? What's going on with this? So I think that's a positive question. And then also like I love it, like not even like in that like first meeting, but like during our time working together, when they go, why are we doing this? Why do you have me eating like this? What's the point of this protein shake? Why are we doing so many Bulgarian split squats?
I love that. I love that. So what do you think, Nate, your strengths are?
Well, I've never really been like the sharpest. Like I'm not picking stuff up the fastest. I'm not like crushing it year one out of the gate. But I know for a fact, and this is something that I think that I've loved about fitness, is that if I don't quit, I cannot lose. And if I'm committed and I'm consistent, I know I'm gonna get what I want. And if it takes me 10 times as long as it takes someone like you, Scott, I'm okay with that. Sure. And so like I think one of my biggest strengths besides my biceps is my consistency and my patience. Like I can hang in there and wait for something good to happen. I don't need it to be today. I don't need to.
Right. And your clients, you pass that right on to your clients. I mean, inch by inch, it's a cinch. By the yard, it's hard. That's what we say, your time to shine today. Right. So that's awesome. So to what extent do you appreciate those strengths of being consistent, patient?
Like how do I feel about them within myself?
Exactly.
I'm proud of myself. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I think that we have a culture right now of We want the easy button. We want faster. If I was able to like put together a pill that gave people weight loss results,
right,
like I'd be a bajillionaire, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the level we're living on, Amazon Prime mentality.
Right.
So I think it's really counterculture to be like, I'm okay with waiting. I'm okay with not being perfect today. I'm okay with that ready, fire, aim. Like I'm going to go and then I'm going to get a little bit better. And I'm going to go again. I'm going to get a little bit better. And so I like that because I feel like it's a difference maker. And I know that like it solidifies like victory's already mine. I'm already going to get the W. You can't stop me. No one can stop me.
Right. Because you ain't quitting.
The only person can stop me is me.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. So then what extent do you appreciate your limitations? Because we all have them.
Yeah. I don't know if I necessarily appreciate them as much as like look at them and like, gotta get better at that. But like
part of the journey though, baby. You gotta love it. Right.
True. And I know that like the one thing I do like about them is that when I can see my limitations, like my organizational strength is not like ideal.
Right.
I'm great at taking action, but like refinement, not my skill. But I know, Scott, that if I'm actually go to work on those things, those are my limits. Those are what's keeping me from the life I want. So I know that like by addressing them, I'll get closer. It's not that much. It's not fun. It's not pretty sometimes, but
dude, you appreciate them a lot then, man. Cause you know, dude, the winners out there, the people that I've coached, again, CEOs of monster companies, they look at their limitations. They're like, dude, if I can't conquer this, I'll hire it out. You know what I'm saying? I love that you say that because you can't hire anybody out your body. You know, you have to take care of it. And I love that you're transparent. This is freaking awesome. So have you saw the movie Back to the Future?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get in that DeLorean with Marty McFly. Let's go back to the 20-year-old Nate Palmer. What kind of knowledge nuggets, as we call him here at Time to Shine today, what kind of knowledge nuggets are you dropping on the 20-year-old Nate to maybe help him level up, blast through, and shorten his learning curve just a little bit?
I just tell him to buy a bunch of Bitcoin.
My dude. All right.
That's it. I'm walking away.
I love it. I love it.
I think that I would go back and to like tell myself, hey, get into the things that you want to get into, because I got a business degree. Like when I was 20 years old, I was working on a business degree from the University of Arizona, and I did not like it, and I was bored with it, and it was not my favorite thing. So I spent a lot of time like starting to read fitness articles and nutrition articles and stuff like that. So I would have probably told myself to shortcut that process and go after the thing that I was looking for. Get that, like go for that personal training certification, like switch the degree if that's what it takes. And then I don't know. I feel like I've had
Dude, you said it all, man. It's all about passion and being authentic. And that's what I would tell I'm going to be 50. That's what I'd tell my young guy too, man. Absolutely. So how do you want your dash remembered? That little line in between your incarnation date and your expiration date, your life date and death date on your tombstone. How do you want Nate's dash remembered?
And this changes every year. Because like if you had asked me in my 20s, I'd be like probably like the guy with the really big biceps.
Sure.
And then you ask me at like 28, I'd be like, oh, like adventurer, like just legend. I want to be a legend. And then I think if you ask me now, I'd be like, I want my family. I have a 3-year-old daughter and a 7-month-old son. And I'm like, I want them to remember me as being like a cornerstone and a pillar for them that allowed them to grow and thrive. Like it feels like it's like it used to be all about me, and I feel like now it's not as much.
Wow. Isn't that crazy? The older you get, man. Yeah, that answer was kick ass, dude. That was fantastic for being there with that. So let's get back in that DeLorean, this time with Doc Brown. Where we're going, there are no roads. Where do you see Nate Training Systems in 5 years?
I would like to, one of my big goals right now is to help like 30,000 dads in the US, which is literally 0.1% of the dads out there. And so most of the people I work with are, dads, but they're also C-level executives, business owners, entrepreneurs, people like leveling up in their tribes and their trade. So I want to help people like that get to the point where like they don't have that track running in the back of their mind where it's like, hey, you're not enough, you're inadequate. You don't like, I want to help them feel good when they walk into the room. I want to give them back their power that they had when they had that confidence and energy. So, and I think that like, and obviously this is who I am. This is where I'm
Dude,
standing
this
right
is
now
awesome,
in my life.
bro. I love it. Yeah.
But like, I can see that if I don't show up powerfully for my kids, if I get back to my house at 5 p.m. and I'm in a bad mood, like I see how that impacts my kids. And if I show up and I'm like dad's home, like, let's go, then I see what they're like, and I know the power of that. So if I can help other dads have that, I know that's going to completely transform just like
Dude,
families and lives.
Dude, that's fantastic. You are doing it, man. You're doing it. So what do you think people misunderstand the most about Nate?
I'm more than just a beard, Scott.
Man, that could go a bunch of different ways.
I said it. I was like, well, let's keep it.
Yeah,
Donnie, let's keep this in the episode. I think that probably people think that I'm I come across as being a little bit harsh sometimes. Mm-hmm. I'm a truth teller. I sometimes don't sugarcoat things. No kid gloves. And I swear a lot. I'm kind of a rambunctious person.
It's all good with me, man. Do your thing.
Right. So I think that people think that like I am fitness person, trainer, hardcore, let's get after it kind of guy. Mm-hmm. And I'm really a big softie. So
right. Gotcha. But you carry that stick, man. You got that velvet glove with that iron fist underneath there. That's good stuff. So what keeps you up at night, Nate?
I think I know I've talked about feelings of inadequacy and fear and stuff like that, but the big things for me is like, as an entrepreneur, like, is this business going to work out? Should I give this up? Should I go start a landscaping company? Should I go to work in the workforce? Should I am I doing the right things for myself and for my family to create the life and legacy that I want? And that keeps me up, because I think, being a business owner, being an entrepreneur is at the heart of it very scary to have to.
What do you think it is keeps you there? Because you've been doing this 11 years, right? Like straight through 11 years, right? From what I've vetted on you, what keeps you going then?
I mean, that same thing I was talking about earlier. Like, I know that what I want is on the other side of hard work and consistency.
Yeah, man.
And if I keep going, if I put out content and I'm writing books and I'm talking to people and I'm having conversations, like maybe today, like I'm coming off a string of some rough sales calls. I've had a bunch of people in a row just saying no to me. And like in the moment today, I'm frustrated. I'm annoyed by that. But I know that this hard work that I'm putting in right now, like, I don't know what that's going to look like in 3 months, but I know it's going to be positive. Absolutely, I know these things are going to come back. And so if I'm just delivering value and helping people out as best I can, like, I know I'm having an impact. I hear that all the time from the clients who are working with me.
Right.
And I know that the life I want is on the other side of getting people to the life that they want.
I love that. And, it's funny. I'm looking at right now on my wall above Donnie's head here. It says, keep doing it even when you don't see any visible progress. It's literally on my wall, dude. That's what you hit the nail on the head. And when you do it, man, it goes, bro. So what are 3 things? Let's take out our computer, cell phone, tablets, anything electronic out of it. Let's take family out of it, because that's a given. What are 3 other things that you cannot live without?
If I had to narrow it down to one piece of workout equipment or something like that, I would probably say there's a power block dumbbell that I really love.
Love it.
So it's a dumbbell that I can adjust the weights on. Like, that thing's amazing. I kind of want to cheat a little bit and say my Kindle. Like, I love reading.
Dude,
love
reading's
books,
fine. Reading's good.
But I can't carry out a bunch of books. Right. So the Kindle's money for me.
Dude, your third answer better be some kind of cheat meal, bro. Ooh. So come on, man. What is it? What's your cheat meal?
I don't do cheat meals. I just do tacos. I love tacos, cool. and they fit the macros. And I eat tacos probably
beautiful,
5 times a week.
Dude. Love it. I love it. So, what is Nate's definition of life well lived?
I think that you can you'll be able to tell if you lived a life worth remembering by how the people you touched. When people come to your funeral, what are they saying about you? Like, oh man, he was a nice guy. He did a good job at work, or they were like, hey, this guy showed up for me when I was in a rough spot. This guy, when he had a conversation with me. I've heard this story about Bill Clinton a few times, which is kind of interesting. But when people talk about meeting Bill Clinton, they say hey, here's this influential, really powerful man, and he's talking to me like we're the only people in the room, and I'm the most important person here. Yeah. And so that's the legacy I want to leave behind, where people are like I knew, yeah, you guys have an idea of who Nate was. I knew him in this capacity. And that one time when I really needed some help, some eyes on, some whatever else, he got me on that. So that would be, for me, a life well lived.
You got to be in our business, any kind of coaching business, man. That's what I want every client to feel like. I might be working with 10 one-on-one coaching clients a month, but I want that one client when I'm with them to feel that I'm there, period. Because, so many people have a foot in the future, foot in the past, and piss on the present, right? They don't care about where they are right now. That's cute. Dude, what you just said makes you successful at what you are, because you're there with every person. That's fantastic. So, squad, we're going to take my boy Nate from NateTrainingSystems.com through our leveling up lightning round just as soon as we get back from thanking our sponsors and affiliates. Time to Shine Today podcast varsity squad. This is Scott Ferguson. I got my boy Nate Palmer from Nate Training Systems here, and we are going to go through our leveling up lightning round. And Nate, you and I could talk an hour about every single one of these questions, but you got 5 seconds with no, and I repeat, no explanations. You ready to rock?
Ready to rock.
If you're here watching on YouTube, one of our other streaming, or not streaming, but video services, he's rocking, man. He's like a Muhammad Ali getting around. I love it. So, Nate, what is the best leveling up advice you've ever received?
Don't quit.
Love it. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
I drink 32 ounces of water every morning.
Yes. Other than your website, Nate, and that's N8 numerical 8, NateTrainingSystems.com and TimeToShineToday.com, my shameless plug. What website does Nate go to level up?
There's a website called Bodiseku. I can't spell it, but it's called Barking Up the Wrong Tree. It's kind of like contrarian advice.
Beautiful, beautiful. You see me, I'm in my doldrums. And, you're like, man, Fergie's just not looking right. Other than your 2 books, what book would you hand me?
Book I just read called Change Your Questions, Change Your Life.
Love it. Nate, what's your most commonly used emoji when you text?
Crying, laughing, baby.
Here you go. What was your New Year's resolution in 21?
Wear more hats.
My dude. Chess or checkers?
Chess.
Wow. All right, my dude. Favorite charity or organization you like to give your time or money to?
Front Row Foundation.
Beautiful. What is that?
That is an organization that helps, it's like kind of like Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Okay.
People live their life in the front row, basically. So they'll bring people to like concerts and things like that if they're dealing with terminal illnesses.
That's beautiful, man. So last question, you can elaborate on this one. What's the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
90s hip hop.
90s hip hop. I love it. My dude. Nate, how can we find you, brother?
You can go to N8TrainingSystems.com. It's a great place. I spend most of my time in a Facebook group called the $1 Million Body Community. So you can go to N8TrainingSystems.com/group to get there.
Okay.
I put a lot of time and energy and effort into that. But you can also find me on the Instagrams, other places at N8 Training.
N8 Training. Love that branding, man. That's fantastic. So Nate, let's talk about your book. The latest one that just came out, is that the $1 Million? Okay. Yeah. Talk to us about that.
So my first book, Passport Fitness, was kind of a collection of some stories from my wife and I spending a year abroad traveling and how do you stay fit on the road. But what I found from that, it was not transformational at all. It gave some good tips and people would be like, oh, this is great. Nice, very nice book, and put it away. This book is basically a step-by-step guide to a nutrition system that I find is really powerful. And I feel like a lot of coaches write books that are like, hey, here's a long letter about why you should buy my service. I don't do that because I don't know where I'm going to be in 10 years. I want this to be something that people can pick up in a decade or 2 and still get incredible results. So it's a little less like story driven and a little bit more like, here's what we know, here's why it's important, here's what to do next. And so if you read that book, it'll give you a 4-week blueprint or game plan on how to start eating in a way that fuels your energy, teaches your body to burn fat for fuel, and just helps you release some pounds, feel a lot better, show up with more energy and enthusiasm everywhere in life.
Beautiful. And squad, I'm going to do a giveaway. I'm going to purchase 2 of Nate's books. I'm going to have them shipped to Nate. Nate's going to sign one to a lucky listener that puts $1 million you know what? In anything that you respond to, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, anything that puts in Face Everything and Rise. That way I'll know you've listened to this. Face Everything and Rise. You put that in the comments, and I will have Nate mail you out, which on Time to Shine Today's dime, Nate mail you out a signed copy of his book. And it'll go out to the first lucky listener that puts anything in any of our social. And keep it going. We've did 240 interviews and we've given away 220 books from authors. So let's keep it going. Everyone listens all the way through. So that's just fantastic. And Nate, leave us with one last knowledge nugget you'd like to take with us, internalize, and take action.
I think we already established this, but I think this is the most important thing.
Let's bait it in, man. What is it?
You can't lose if you don't quit.
Yes.
You cannot lose if you don't quit. And I think that's like the most important thing, whether you're a dad, a parent, husband, spouse, business owner, or you're working on your health and your fitness. Like the only time that you lose or you falter is when you stop. So whether you have you eat off plan, you gain a couple pounds back, you have a fight with your wife, yell at your kids, doesn't matter. Keep going.
Keep going. Reset. That's beautiful. And squad, we just had an awesome masterclass, basically a free one by a boy here, Nate, the great Palmer. You know, he built his life kind of on a fear-based response that got him into fitness because of his, go back to minute 2 or 3 in this interview, and it got pretty deep for him as a young kid. He'll tell you that fitness and nutrition will elevate yourself. No matter what, you can always come back to that base. If you fall off, you can reset and keep moving forward. Face everything and rise. Fear. His acronym is face everything and rise. I love that. And he believes that a great coach like himself will help you find your why. He'll dig with powerful questions to help you find your why. And why, he'll always take you back to your why. Even when you're getting off track, a great coach will do that. Ask a good coach, why should I hire you? And there's that why word again, because he's going to take care of your why. He's going to keep you on track to your why. I'm going to say this probably 3 times in this recap, but don't quit. If you don't quit, you won't lose. So that's bottom line. That's where he comes from. He believes in a ready, fire, aim mentality and a lot of different things. And he wants you to get into your passion, get into what you want to do. You might go to business for poetry or business, but really if you're set like my boy Nate to level up people in their health and fitness and mindset, then by all means, freaking do it. Go after your passion. If you don't know about certain things, like my good friend Leah Woodford says, get your asking gear. Ask people, and there are people there that will help you. He's going to be known as a cornerstone and a pillar to allow his family to grow and also the people around him that he comes in touch with. He's going to help 30,000 dads, or maybe even more, which basically he wants to help 1% of the population of dads to level up their life and level up their tribes and trade. I mean, that's freaking huge. And all the people that know you, he wants, especially the people coming across my boy Nate's path, he wants to be in touch with them. He showed up and helped shape their lives. There's going to be thousands of people at this cat's funeral. Hopefully it's a long way away, but there will be. And again, you can't lose if you don't quit. Nate, you level up your health, you level up your wealth, you've earned your varsity squad letter here. Thank you so much for coming. I can't wait to collaborate with you in the future, my brother.
This was a real pleasure. Thank you so much.
Awesome, man. I love your guts. Level up.